Hello, everybody. My name's Joal Traynor. Some of you already know my story. Stand up for parental rights. Um, just got to take a minute to say a lot of parents I just recently heard about kids missing, not coming home, whatever it may be. Um, if I could encourage you to do anything, I'd encourage you to be a parent. I know my situation. Um, But with everything going on, people ask what's wrong with our kids these days. People are either scared to be a parent, they don't want to end up in my same situation, or people just don't care and, you know, let them wild out. I believe in being a parent. I think kids are our future, and I'll say it again, it's up to us as parents to make that future bright. But anyway, just want to say thank you to everybody who has supported me, who has shared, who has liked this, for all the prayers that have been sent. Hey, I thank you so much for the coffees, the snacks, all the encouragement. A lot of people going through this that, were just scared. They don't want to lose their jobs. Sorry, I got a lot of notes, a lot of stuff I want to put out there, but I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. So yeah, time I'll be checking my notes, make sure I'm staying in place. Anyway, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Anybody going through similar situations, your own situation, um, if there's any way I could help, I hope that, I am the one man that can make a change, get things started, bring change to, what we need. Anyways, that being said, um, my purpose for, making this video, I've just, tried to let go, let nature take its course, and, it just continues away, kind of heavy on me. I know the truth. I know my daughter knows the truth. Uh, So-called collateral witnesses, or the biological mom and grandma and DHS knows the truth. But it is what it is. So I just want to get my story out there and, just take this weight off of my heart. And hopefully, somebody will see this, through you all spreading the word to support and follow. Uh, Somebody will be willing to step up, maybe help me out, help us out, my family, others going through this, and make change. I'm just, looking for closure. And I'm, at the stage right now. Hey, I don't got nothing to lose. So I'll walk up to the mountain, call out my truth, and hopefully move forward. Secondly, just for justice, for accountability. Um, I don't know if this will help anybody, if this will be what it takes to create change, or if my situation will even change. It don't matter. I gotta stand up for what I believe in. Um, I just, if you can't do nothing, you can stand up. That's how I feel. Anyways, to shed some light on the corruption, the unprofessional, gross negligence that goes on in vital organizations that run our systems, and it's detrimental. I would say it's an epidemic, the way things are neglected due to personal feelings, their emotions, instead of being professional, transparent, and follow the missions and the order of the jobs that certain people take, are hired to. And probably one of the most important is for me to help anyone in any way that I can and prevent them from going through the same situations as mine. I know it's shitty. Sorry for my language. Might hear some from time to time. That's just how it goes. But anyways, man, you know, you could lose it all, but guess what? I still stand tall. With that, I like to ask people, you know, my wife sent me a quote the other day by Martin Luther King. Excuse me. And I put it on the stand-up page. Not because it was Martin Luther King Day, you know, but because the message in that fit me to a T with where I'm at right now, today, in my life. And I'd rather stand for something to sit by and just let it go. Can't do it. So if you could, check it out. It's an interesting quote. Maybe you might want to share it, like it, whatever. Just something that meant a lot to me. Brief little history real quick. Let's see. I've been a father 20 years now. My son's 20. My daughter's 15. Got full custody of my kids beginning part of 2005. Been living here at this same house since 2004. And we're 2017 now. But anyways, have full custody of my kids from 2005 until my son left for college, September of 2014. And my unfortunate situations with my daughter ended in November 2014. So, let's see, 2009, you know, intermittently, the mom would get herself together and kids would have visitation with her and seem to be moving on the right track. I'm all for it. Then something would happen, and I'm not gonna, you know, push all that out there. It is what it is. But in 2009, there was a very serious incident where pretty much the mother of my kids threatened to kill my kids while she was at her home where she resides with her mother, where ultimately in 2014 DHS placed my daughter. Same environment, nothing has changed except for nothing. Anyways, there was a no contact order issued, signed by Judge Daniel Murphy, April 2010. All on recommendation from DHS. And I got paperwork. You'll see me going back and forth. But again, try to just hit some points. If anybody's interested to try and help out, we could hash that out, talk about it, let you see everything that I got. Anyways, on recommendations, this no contact was ordered, signed by Linn County Judge Daniel Murphy. Recommended no contact by DHS and a private counselor, Terry Ealer, who the judge agreed with. That being said, try to get the ball rolling. First off, I want to point out, you know, we don't all get it right all the time, but, you know, with an agency such as DHS, there are certain things that have to be done in order for success in that agency to truly be able to help children and families. And that's getting neglected for whatever reason. Like I said, personal opinions, just people on their own emotions or experiences, not paying attention to what is fact. Um, there are people within the agency that do great things, but it's all getting overshadowed. And I want to share with you. You could look it up on your own. I'm going to just share it with you. But in the Statesman Journal, Thursday, October 21st, 2016, child welfare, DHS, federal standards, they fail. It is not just what's being pointed out, the foster care system, it's the whole system that gets involved with families, great foster parents who, speak the truth, who kind of get shunned. But anyway, read the article. Here it is. See the date on that? It's an epidemic. We need to be able to do something to step up, make a change that is much needed to save these families, save these children. We need these children to fuel the fire. They are our future. So these issues began, had a teenage daughter, went through some things, like I said, with mom, so on and so forth, started having issues. She was about 10 years old, started her teenage girl womanhood stuff, and, a lot of different emotions she's going through, and just part of being a kid. That being said, my son was going to be leaving for school. Know that it was emotional for my daughter because they were best friends. It was hard. Now she's going to be home by herself, whatnot. Best friends going. Issues you had in the past with mom. And it would be hard for a kid. Especially the severity of the issues with mom. Well, as parents, done what we could do. Grounded, taking away privileges, TVs, no phone, had a home phone. Hey, I'm a parent. Yeah, I took the door off the hinges. Hey, you stay in my sight. Hey, I'm a strict parent. Not so strict, but it's up to me for when my kids leave the house, such as my son, 20 years old, or even my daughter. When they walk out the door, responsibility is on me to teach them to know right and wrong when they leave here. Have respect for themselves, respect for others, love for themselves, love for others. Be willing to help out. My job. My job. So, we noticed things were going good. We took a family trip before my son left, went to Puerto Vallarta. Things were great. June 2014, July, I sent my daughter down with my little sister for a while. Things are great. Well, my son leaves and, things not going so well. Come to find out that my daughter, I was going to school Wednesdays, as parents in Albany, Oregon know, half days of school. So my daughter was to ride the bus to the Boys and Girls Club. I'd pick her up when I got home from school in Salem. Come to find out, Grandma Linda Baker is picking my daughter up from school without my permission and taking my daughter to visit with her mom, who there's a no contact order against, and Linda knows this. So, Linda calls and leaves a voicemail saying that she just had to pick up Janae and see her face to face and take her to ice cream because she's having these heart troubles and the doctors don't know, and she just had to tell Janae, let me see, because it might be the last time that she has a chance to see her face to face. So hope we're not mad, and And it's a printed out from our home phone line. So I was not happy about her picking my daughter up without my permission, and that there's a court order for somebody who threatened to kill my kids, and she knew it because she was assaulted during the time, and taking my daughter out to visit with this individual. I'm not okay with that. If I'd have done that and broke the court order, that'd have locked me up. Maybe, who knows? Anyway, next day, my wife, Carmen, goes to pick up our daughter at school, and she's notified by school staff that my daughter's cell phone had been confiscated. Well, my daughter didn't have a cell phone, but she did. Because Grandma Linda Baker, I have the contract, took my daughter after my wife and myself told her not to buy my daughter a cell phone. She wasn't allowed to have a cell phone when she asked us, but took my daughter anyways to buy a cell phone. Sorry. This cell phone. Smartphone. My 12-year-old daughter. Which brings the whole situation with DHS, because on this phone I found very inappropriate pictures of my daughter and of other children from her school that were sending pictures, boys, back and forth. Also, people that were adults sending my daughter messages on her Facebook and stuff to be her friend. Not okay with. Pictures of my daughter and my wife's lingerie, posing, taking pictures. Not okay with. But let cooler heads, let me think about this. Mind you, I've been working at the Oregon Youth Authority for 16 years. Have gone through the highest level the state offers in working with teenagers, adolescents, from collaborative problem solving, crisis intervention, you name it. If it's required, if DHS has to do it, I have to do it. You'll understand why I mention that later. But I tell my daughter very specifically of these pictures that we're going to sit down and talk about that are concerning to me. And we're going to go to the school and involve the principal and whoever was messaged back and forth with my daughter, her sending or them sending, and involve their parents, because I think the parents should know as well. If they don't care, they don't care, but maybe they do care and don't know their children are doing this. I think they should know. So I worked graveyards for 8 years, 10 years, since I had custody of my kids. I took a graveyard shift. Been working graveyards 10 years. Get off of work one night. My daughter had to now walk to school, or she could ride the bus that comes for a different school right outside of our house, or she could walk to the school she was going to. She chose to walk to school. It's fine with me. A lot of kids walk there every day. So I get home and I notice the phone's moved, and I look through it, and the pictures that I told my daughter were concerned that we were going to talk about have all now been deleted or edited. So now I can take no action. I call, and actually my wife calls and lets Linda know that she's no longer allowed to have, per me, contact with Janae on phone or in person until Tara gets her stuff together and she could visit on her own time with Tara. Linda didn't like this. Called me, leaves a message threatening me of what she's going to do, call the police and DHS and yada, 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 which ultimately could be why I'm where I'm at right now. Who knows? I went and made a police report about my daughter being picked up without permission by the grandmother, taken to visit the mother who has no contact, called DHS about it. Was told it's not really a concern right now, but the police said they would call and let Linda know not to do it again. Of course, I wasn't happy with that. For people that want to know what they could do, I don't know. I'm still in the situation. I reached out to all the local media, newspapers. Nobody wanted to talk to me, let alone give me a phone call back. Have held big stand-ups in downtown Albany, Democrat Herald's right down the street. Hasso Heron. Man came out, sat down with me at my kitchen table, spoke with me, showed him all the paperwork that I showed you guys. He was transparent. He asked questions, did his own research. You could look up the article he did. Let's see here. September 29th, 2015. He did some research, found out some information, but if you want to, you could check out his story, see what he wrote, what he had to say. Hasso, thank you. I've contacted the governor's advocacy office. Ultimately, they told me DHS has it in writing, so that's what it is. I contacted the DOJ, Department of Justice, heard nothing back. Contacted Kate Brown, heard nothing back. I wrote a letter to President Obama. The Child Abuse Resource Center wrote me a letter back, telling me to take care of it in my home state. So, contacted state reps, Sarah Gessler, who had a sit down with me. Thank you very much for that. Showed her documents, told her my story. Never had any follow-up. Reached back out to her and still never heard anything. I don't know. It is what it is. Also, Andy Olson, reached out to him. I gotta say, he's had a sit down with me. He's had many sit downs with me. Andy, gotta tell you thank you from the bottom of my heart. Always transparent, never made promises, but he followed through on what he was gonna say. Outstanding man. Got my vote all day, and I think you represent Oregon and the people well. Thank you. Matter of fact, I had a meeting with the heads of DHS, Reginald Richardson and Clyde Psyche, in May. Thanks to Andy Olson, got me to where, maybe people wouldn't just sweep it under the carpet or cover it up. Who's watching who? The agency, things happen. But anyways, reached out to these people. My wife and I went the state capitol, met with them, talked to them, shared them all the information I had, what was being alleged, the contradictions, the proof that I could show, everything. They didn't make any promises either. They did say that they would review the information that they were given, and be transparent about it. I received a response back June 27th, understanding could take some time. If they're gonna do the investigation and review, look into it, great. I'm all for it. Take your time. I'm not looking for it to be over tomorrow. But in this response, it says, this is a response to your request that DHS review and Child Protective Service matter that you were previously involved in. Thanks for your patience while your case was under review. And this came from Mr. Richardson, looked at the previous communications with DHS, as well as the information involving your Child Protective Service case. As you know, there have been both informal and formal reviews in response to your request. Our records indicate that you have already exercised your due process rights through DHS. Due process rights. So I received a letter here from DHS on, I gave you the date. Let's see, February 10th is when the letter was written, telling me I was found guilty for child abuse, physically abusing my child. Let me make sure I get this right. In this letter, it says that I have the right to respond. I have 30 days for a DHS office to receive a written response, 30 calendar days, or I will forfeit all foregoing and the court's decision, yada, yada, yada. Also, for my due process rights, it says when we have reviewed, we will look at the related information in the case, police reports, medical reports, and information you give us, which I sent them a list. We will not talk to anyone that's not mentioned in the files. Within 30 calendar days of the office receiving your request, you will receive a letter telling you what the decision is. 30 days, my due process rights. I got a little timeline here. I'm going to switch some things up just, for time's sake. So, bear with me. So, I received the letter. It's my little timeline we got. Got it all in writing. One thing, you go through a situation, get it all in writing. I keep my stuff locked up in a whole different secure location, just in case. But anyways, the date that I received this letter, I sent a response back to them on March 4th. Sent the response back. I had 30 days from them receiving my letter, March 4th. Certified mail. Certified mail. They didn't respond until June 15th, 2005, saying that it was founded. In this here, I had an attorney I was working with, great lady, who, was just helping me out to find information, who called DHS to find out why we haven't heard anything and it's been above the 30 days due process. And this attorney was told because the person handling the case is on vacation. More than 90 days, I finally hear back. But, Mr. Thank you for my due process rights. Let's see. Says, as you know, there have been both informal and formal interviews. And the response for your request indicates, I've already exercised those rights. The agency based their decision on findings on 2 physical abuse incidents which occurred November 16, 2014, November 19, 2014. Those are the incidents that I whooped my daughter. Oh, sorry. I was never born with a silver spoon in my mouth. See gold. Hey, when from top of the line, grandmother, great-grandmother, aunt, uncle, you're acting out of line. The word I heard was, you're gonna get whooped. That's what I know. Not spanked, sorry it's not proper, but anyways, 2 occasions where I spanked my daughter. 3 times on each occasion, which I have the documentation, the police report, where I get my side of the story, and also it is recorded, digital recording that for some reason I was told I cannot have access to. But okay. But Statements from me was recorded that to this day remain the same. Stories that is said here that I put my 12-year-old daughter in a headlock and spanked her, but in Morgan's report from DHS states that, in the police report also, that I put my 12-year-old daughter in a headlock and excessively beat her, but she was able to escape the headlock with the bruise on her butt that the officer said was 3 inches long by 1.5 inches wide, and a bruise on her elbow and on her thigh. They asked me, I knew nothing about it. Like I told them, I was always honest with them, never lied to them, but they couldn't accept my answer and my response, and I wouldn't let them bully me around. So they made allegations and made it fit in order to get a victory. Plain and simple. Let's see. There were pictures of the bruises. I have my information. Let's see. I was initially arrested and charged with assault for criminal mistreatment, felony, $56,000 bail. And luckily, a good friend of mine and my wife, father-in-law, posted bail for me, in which got 100% of my bail money back. 100%. Because the DA dropped all charges. How so Herring found out. It's how I found out. But in this record here, from the head of DHS, it appears the DA later dropped charges because they had no evidence of the abuse within to charge me for reasonable doubt. Saying something, but DHS was steadfast on me abusing my child and not looking into the facts of the whole case. Let's see, my child was placed on a plan with her mother, which my daughter never should have been placed there. She was on a 10-day safety plan. From Friday, November 21st, my daughter was taken to the hospital, per Carly's law, to have a physical abuse check. From that point, it was a safety plan. My daughter went and stayed with my brother and sister-in-law for 10 days, which December 1st would have been the 10th day. It was a Friday. Understand everybody was ready to get off work. Well, my daughter was so abused and beat, my wife went down there, who DHS alleges stood by while I beat and abused my daughter, putting her in a headlock, and did nothing, and neglected medical needs as well as me for my daughter. But yet, from the emergency room, my wife, brother, and sister-in-law are there. DHS leaves before my daughter's discharged by the medical staff. Pretty concerned. Another interesting thing here, my reviews are up. They say my daughter gave consistent statements, along with collateral witnesses, Linda and Tara Baker. Collateral witness, not credible at all. There's, I believe, 6 cases DHS, and every time Linda Baker is called and made the reports. I don't know about the one against me, but Tara has a history, which, paperwork speaks for itself. Alleged that I was just a druggie, a pothead. I smoked weed all day, all night. Would leave my daughter at home while me and my wife go bar hopping, things like that. I was never once asked to take a UA. Never once. It was alleged. It's in their paperwork, though. On the other hand, Tara took a UA, P dirty for meth, and they still placed my child in her care, in the same environment where her life was threatened in 2009. And they showed no care or discretion in that. Because I'm a father, because I'm a black father, I got a gold tooth, a little bit bigger of a guy, and let them bully me around, whatever their bias, prejudice, discrimination for whatever reason against me to make their decision. Definitely is detrimental. You know, there's things you got to do and follow a process. You just can't make decisions because you feel a way or don't like how somebody responded to you. Facts are the facts. Paperwork for days. Nobody wants to look at that. Nobody wants to hold this type of agency accountable. So I'm standing up. I know a lot of people have gone through this. Now back to the topic. It says that my daughter had mental and emotional needs that me and my wife failed to address. But we had my child in counseling since 2009 after the incident with their mom, pretty much. Statements are made in there that don't quite line up with all the medical records that I have. My daughter gave, what I counted up was 6 different statements to different DHS, the police, the emergency room nurse, the ABC house, Dr. Arrow, and Dr. Basham. But in every statement, there's been a different story. Things don't line up. So how the head of DHS alone, and up the line for everybody who's reviewed the case or said they reviewed it, to not see that and come back and say collateral witnesses, that my daughter gave consistent stories. Let's see, my wife was present. Try to wrap this up here for you guys. My wife was present Sunday, November 16th, when I allegedly put my daughter in a headlock and beat her. To this day, my wife has never been interviewed or asked any questions about those allegations. But they did put something in their paperwork regarding her. Another witness, my son. A lot of you people may know. Great kid. Both of my kids are great. I ain't gonna lie. But anyway, you know, my son is very well spoken when, you know, there's something that is true to his heart and that he weighs on. And he's a witness that is hearsay that my son said how dangerous my house is, and that when he leaves for college that they need to rescue my daughter from here, yada, yada, yada. Well, I got a statement from my son, and I'm not gonna put it all out there, you know, just some little things here and there, you know, to go along with consistent statements, witnesses, you know. So again, 6 different people she talked to. Originally, I put her to the police, who only had contact with my daughter one time, an original DHS. That I'll be right back.